Big news right now. Kash Patel, the FBI director, has officially sued the Atlantic for $250 million for defamation after the Atlantic published an explosive article detailing Kash Patel's alleged alcohol use and alcoholism issues, including at least one situation where FBI officials had to call in SWAT team type battering rams to try to get him out of bed because he was not responsive to knocks on the door, and other serious episodes where Kash Patel has been intoxicated and potentially compromised national security and the work of the FBI because of it. And because of this lawsuit, Kash Patel has opened himself up to discovery. Questions about his alcohol use. It's all fair game. And it'll all be asked in depositions, in requests for production, interrogatories. So we'll see what happens next.
FBI Director Kash Patel is at the center of a storm after The Atlantic published an article accusing him of heavy drinking, frequent absences, and paranoid outbursts described as a national security threat. Patel broadly denied the allegations, and an FBI communications official threatened to sue over the story, but the online reaction was immediate and blunt. Atlantic reporter Jameel Hill wrote, "They really got Bluto in charge of the FBI." Representative Ted Lieu listed alleged conduct and said Patel should be fired if the claims are true. Podcaster Kyle Seraphin and others pointed to a reported episode in which FBI officials sought SWAT breaching equipment after Patel allegedly locked himself in an office while drunk.
Right after Pam Bondi was fired, I gave a warning video to Kash Patel and let him know that he was going to be on the chopping block. And now an article just dropped saying that Kash Patel has a drinking problem. They're saying that this man has been drinking so much that he's been going on unexplained absences, and they even had to almost use a battering ram to get him outside of locked doors after a binge night. In the article, it's stating that Kash Patel was getting so freaking hammered that they were having to push back very important meetings because of him. They even said that one day he was struggling to log into an internal computer system, and he was convinced that he had been locked out, and so he panicked and called all of his aides and allies and announced that he had been fired. He was so convinced that he had aides calling the White House to find out who his replacement would be. But instead of finding out the name of the replacement, they found out that Kash had not been fired, that he just literally couldn't log in correctly, and it was an IT fumble. I told you their goal by the end of this year is to have all white men who are allegiant to them or people they're going to throw under the bus.
FBI Director Kash Patel has filed a $250 million defamation lawsuit against The Atlantic after they published an article claiming that he was an unrepentant drunk and sometimes was so drunk he could not be woken up and his colleagues were confused. And the first thing I'm going to say as we get into the story, I contest this outright. I'm not going to pretend like I'm great friends with Kash Patel or anything, but he has been on Timcast IRL several times. We've hung out with him. Friends of friends. I'm not sure I've ever even seen him drink. Listen, right over here to my left, we've reinstated our alcohol bar. At Timcast IRL, we actually have a very, very fine selection of Scotch whiskeys, as well as everyone's favorite in Chicago, Jepson's Malort, which, if you know what that is, it's kind of a gag. But no, I'm not trying to rag on Malort. It's just that everyone in Chicago makes a joke that it's made from the grass growing off the side of Interstate 55, if you know what I mean. Anyway, the point is, we have this really great selection of boozes, and I don't even recall Kash drinking any of it. Like, I don't know the man to drink. And it sounds like from some of these stories where they're like, The Atlantic publishes this story. We'll read through it, where they say that he'd be at work functions drinking. And I'm like, are you saying that he'd go to the bar and have a drink or two with his colleagues and friends? You know, this is wild. Because the dude's an athlete. He plays on a hockey team. I have a ton of friends that are on the team with him, and it's in D.C. It's just like a local thing. That's why he was at the Olympic hockey thing in Europe. He's a big hockey guy. And this is weird. But let me read the news for you. It's from CNN. He has filed a $250 million defamation suit. Yeah, good for him. They say the defamation suit filed Monday morning in D.C. seeks $250 million. The Atlantic called the suit meritless. We stand by our reporting on Kash Patel, and we will vigorously defend the Atlantic and our journalists against this meritless lawsuit. Patel threatened to sue the Atlantic both before and again after the story was published on Friday. He was quoted by the magazine as saying, "I'll see you in court. Bring your checkbook." That's amazing. Accusing someone of being a drunk and derelict of duty enters defamation per se territory. So let me clarify. For public figures, there are standards. There's Times v. Sullivan, which is the standard of the publication needs to know what they're saying is false. However, defamation per se is when the defamation is so egregious that you don't even need to prove damages. And this is where it gets real interesting. See, the thing about defamation is that if someone said you're like a Nazi or whatever, you can't really sue for that because, well, it's an opinion. What does Nazi even mean? You've tried to make the argument that they're claiming you're an actual member of the Nazi party from Germany. They're going to say it doesn't exist anymore.
So ladies and gentlemen, again, welcome to the channel, and I'm trusting that you're doing well today. I'm trusting that the Almighty God is putting you intact. You know, you're putting yourself intact and with everything that you believe in. And guys, if you realize, nobody is talking about the Epstein files anymore. So this is it. You have seen how the pictures and the videos of your favorite FBI director, Kash Patel, has resurfaced again. So everyone is mad, especially the Mǎğà people. They are mad because it seems like the administration doesn't know how to hold itself. And this is it. So most of the time when you hold a public office, you are required to hold yourself in some regard. It's just a way that you have to behave. So basically, the whole entire United States economy is really scrambling down. Look at it in this way. We are looking at the investors who are trying to put foot into certain sectors in terms of economy, in terms of invention, in terms of all that. And if you have watched one of my videos, I have just highlighted how some professors of economy are trying to send warning to the administration because at this point it's gonna be bad. But then again, these people are playing tantrums. They like to play this game. And ask yourself, like, all of a sudden we have the UAE fight, we have the Iran fight, we have the Strait of Hormuz being closed, reopened again. We have your favorite president, you know, lying to the whole world that, you know what, we have come to a consensus. You know, the Iran people have decided to concede, and then boom, within less than a day, I'm talking about less than hours, then the Iranian people are trying to tell us that they have closed the Strait of Hormuz. And what does that mean? It means that the whole world is going to suffer again. But then again, you have seen these pictures of Kash Patel has resurfaced, him, you know, getting drunk and all that, being carried away and all that. And right now people are mad because this is some sort of being very reckless. Like everybody would maybe drink, go have fun once or twice, but then again, why should we have these pictures? So this guy is so mad that he is trying to sue these publishers. And we're like, there's a lot of stuffs that are still at stake right now. That should not even be the center of focus. Like I've said, like in my previous videos, I've also discussed how it's hard right now. You find that 2 people, 3 people in a household, you know, working and all that, but still they cannot be able to sustain their lives. Yeah, you've seen all that. And people are demanding, like, you know what, we need this guy out. We don't need him in because you need to uphold the secrets, you know, everything with high regards of this country. So everyone is just saying, you know what, we want Kash Patel out, and that's it. They're not relenting. They don't want anything to do with it. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, again, you are welcome to being part of my online family, just in case you're new here. And my name is Yvonne. And to my returning subscribers, thank you so much for being part of this whole journey. Please subscribe, leave a comment, and let me know where you're watching from. Let me know what you think about this resurfacing of pictures of these leaders, this and that and that. Yeah, until next time.